on chapter 4 of your book, Your Health is Your Choice, you talked about magnetic therapy and said here, not only did it make the difference between living and dying, but gave me a life worth living. So that sounds pretty important.
It is. I've had so many benefits from magnetic therapy. It amazes me. I can't imagine one of the world's oldest forms of health is not mainstream. It just doesn't even make sense to me at all that it's not used widely throughout the world. Some foreign countries it's used extensively, but in the United States this is like suppressed science, and it doesn't make any sense to me at all. One of my earliest classes in magnetic therapy was by Dr. Jesse Partridge. He told us that magnets can heal and they can kill. And I struggled with that for quite a while, thinking that, how's that going to happen? Well, I eventually personally witnessed it. So, and I know for a fact exactly what happened and how it happened, and I did touch on that in my book. But then it wasn't until I met Dr. Dean Bonley, who's really given me a tremendous education. He's been so kind about spending many hours with me, teaching me one-on-one, as well as he's always available, been taking my phone calls for nearly 20 years now. Anytime I have a question about the use of magnets or whatever, he's just a phone call away. So I've had a tremendous education of the benefits of magnets and an incredible amount of benefit to go along with that. I know that just one minor one, it's quick, that I threw a baseball to my oldest grandson, roughly 20 years ago, and tore a rotator cuff. And I couldn't raise my arm up even this high. It was so painful, and it went on for 2 years. I was like, I couldn't get over, I couldn't get beyond it, stretching and all kinds of things like that. And Dr. Bonley says, what are you thinking? With all the benefits you've had with magnets, strap this magnet on there and spend the night. Tomorrow it'll be fine. And he was right on. One night, and it was healed. I got full range of motion. It doesn't hurt a bit, and it never has since just one night with the magnet in place. And myself, I've healed broken bones on a couple of occasions within 2 weeks opposed to 6, which is a norm. Sprained ankle, that usually takes a couple of weeks to where you're walking normal, overnight, and I'm using it normal. So a lot of these things I've got listed in my book. I've got many stories. I think something really important to point out is that when I first started learning about magnets, I belonged to a multi-level company that sold magnets, and their whole philosophy was, try it, you'll like it. It's going to work. Well, I noticed, it did work for a week or two, and then pretty quick, you're no longer seeing a benefit. And I was struggling trying to understand, how's that happen? Well, it took me quite a while before it made sense to me, and Dr. Bonley finally laid it out in a way that I understood it, that bipolar magnets are detrimental long-term use. And so anyway, there's quite an education that goes along with understanding the proper use of magnets, and it took me, I probably read 12 books before I even understood for sure which side of the magnet and which side of the equator that you needed to use to where you're going to get the maximum benefit. Otherwise, it could be detrimental to you. So these are things that I point out in my book. It's quite comprehensive, and it's simple. I've made it very clear, and I believe that anybody that reads that chapter on magnets will be able to be confident in their ability to use magnets to improve their own health, because it reduces pain usually within minutes. And they work really well on 86% of the people. For the 14% that they do not work on well, it's because of lack of the proper mineral balance that the magnetic energy has to work with in order for you to maximize the benefit from that energy.
Okay, so it's a little more complicated than just getting a bracelet or a necklace, but you explain it simply so we can understand how to do magnetic therapy the correct way.
That's exactly right. And like I said, it's fantastic to feel 20, wake up every morning 100% pain-free and looking forward to the next 100 years. I'm excited.